Alright friends, it's finally time to talk about something that I've been anticipating for quite a while, and that is Hades 2. This is the sequel to the roguelite masterpiece that truly stole my heart back in 2020, and let me tell you, after playing it on the Nintendo Switch 2, I am more excited than ever, and I was already very excited. Now, as some of you may know, Hades was a game that opened my eyes to the roguelite genre. I didn't know if I'd enjoy. I've been recommending to everyone, right alongside titles like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splinter Fate, and Dead Cells. Now, here we are with Hades 2, and this sequel is looking to top its predecessor in just about every way, which is a tall task. I've been predicting for, I think, over a year that this would be a Switch 2 launch title, and while I can't confirm that yet, the fact that it's part of the early access lineup at the Switch 2 Experience gives me plenty of reason to believe it will be. Regardless, this game is a must-have for any fan of action, mythology, and roguelites. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through my first impressions of Hades 2 on the Switch 2, and let me tell you, this game is a serious upgrade, especially when it comes to the Switch 2. From the gameplay to the story, there's a lot to cover, so let's dive in. Hades 2 is developed by Supergiant Games, the same studio that brought us the original Hades, Bastion, and Transistor. This time, we're stepping into the sandals of Melinoë, the princess of the Underworld, and sister to Zagreus, the protagonist of the first game. You'll be battling your way through a mythic world with new weapons, magic, and gods at your disposal, all while trying to defeat Kronos, the Titan of Time, and save your family. Hades 2 builds on the roguelike mechanics that made the first game so incredibly addictive, but it adds new layers of depth, including witchcraft, magic, and the ability to interact with even more gods, ghosts, and monsters. It's the first sequel from Supergiant Games, and it's shaping up to be a true evolution of the franchise. The game has been in early access for, I believe, the past year, and of course, I was able to play this at the Switch event, so it should be coming out sometime soon, possibly at launch. But from what I've already played, I am very much impressed. Action-packed with gameplay. Of course, you still have the deep connections to the Greek mythology, and that's something I really enjoyed actually about Hades, was the Greek mythology aspect. Alright, let's talk gameplay now. The original Hades was already known for its incredibly tight and responsive combat, and Hades 2 keeps that feeling while introducing new mechanics to keep things fresh, like Witchcraft. In this game, you'll control Melinoë, and she wields a variety of weapons, each infused with powerful magic. The combat feels just as fluid as the first game. If you played it on Switch 1, it feels much more fluid now on Switch 2. Fast-paced, hack-and-slash mechanics that'll have you chaining attacks and dodging enemies in the blink of an eye. Like, you have to definitely be on point with these kinds of games in order to actually beat the game. What's new this time around is the addition of the Witchcraft. So you can infuse your weapons with magic to deal devastating damage, which gives you more flexibility in how you approach your fights. And there's so much strategy that goes into what boons you pick and how you build out your character, and that was, again, another thing that I really enjoyed about Hades 1, and I can already see in Hades 2 that with the new elements that are being added, the magic, the witchcraft, that it's just going to make that better. It's going to make it deeper. There's going to be more layers to the strategy, and I'm like, this is awesome. So you'll definitely need, though, to manage your resources and decide essentially when to unleash your most powerful moves, because you can't spam it. Obviously, they have systems in place in the game, so you can't spam all your magic. You have to be super strategic about how you build your character and then how you use your character. One of the biggest changes in Hades is the introduction of two distinct paths through the Underworld. In the first game, you worked your way up through 4 biomes, battling enemies in places like Tartarus and Elysium. In Hades 2, you get to explore both Erebus and Ephra, each with its own set of biomes and challenges. These new areas aren't just visually stunning, but they also open up new gameplay possibilities, offering fresh environments to fight through and new challenges to overcome. Another exciting addition is the expanded cast of gods, ghosts, and monsters. You'll encounter more Olympian gods such as Apollo and Zeus, who will offer you powerful boons to help you in your quest. But it's not just about the gods. You'll meet new characters, including Melinoë's mentor, Hecate, who plays a key role in her journey. These characters have their own stories to tell, and as you interact with them, you'll unlock new abilities, quests, and even relationships. And that's one thing that was really important in Hades 1 is that there was if you didn't interact with the characters and listen to their stories and do these things, you may not unlock certain abilities that you could have unlocked because you're just trying to, blast through the game. So you got to take in everything, talk to everybody, and when you do, it will open up new abilities, new quests, new relationships. So make sure that if you end up picking up Hades 2, that you do that. And if you've never played Hades and you're interested in playing Hades 1, talk to everybody. So the Witchcraft system, let's talk about that. That's the standout feature here, is the magic and witchcraft system in Hades 2. That's one of the big things that's new here, and essentially you can fuse your legendary weapons with dark sorcery, allowing you to play around with different builds and playstyles, as I mentioned earlier. This system opens up nearly limitless ways to play the game, letting you experiment with different abilities and strategies on each run. Whether you want to focus on fast attacks, ranged magic, or devastating spells, Hades 2 gives you the tools to do it all. Another cool feature is the Arcana Altar, where you can tame witchy familiars and gather reagents using the tools of the unseen. These reagents are used to upgrade your abilities, giving you an even greater edge against the forces of Kronos. It's another fun way to tweak your gameplay and keep the action fresh, ensuring that no 2 runs are ever the same. And again, this just makes the game that much deeper with strategy. So my first time playing Hades 2 on the Switch was incredible. The game controls just as smoothly as the PS5 version of Hades, and the combat feels satisfying and fast. The new weapons and magic mechanics offer even more variety, and I found myself constantly switching up my approach depending on the enemies and the bosses I was facing. The responsiveness of the controls is excellent, with no noticeable lag or input delay, even in the middle of hectic combat sequences. Whether you're slashing through the monsters or carefully planning your next move, it's all seamless and satisfying, and it's one thing I just love about Hades. The art style in Hades 2 continues the tradition of stunning, hand-painted visuals that made the first game so unique. The environments are filled with rich, vibrant colors that really pop thanks to the improved HDR and the smooth 60 FPS performance. As you guys can see, I played this on the Switch 2 in docked mode, and I could instantly tell this game was just such a visual treat. The 4K resolution and super smooth frame rate make the world of Hades 2 feel even more alive, and the big winner here is the HDR. Of all the games on the show floor, the HDR was just so evident, and all of these games popped. It looked like the saturation, it was turned up on all of the games, but when you see them in person, they look fantastic. I think when footage is shown from the event, they don't look as good, because I've even been dealing with that in trying to get my videos that are uploaded to you guys to look as good as they look on my iPhone 16 Pro Max with the HDR. And it's tough. It's tough to find a good program that can really capture the beauty of the HDR and how it looks in person. It's similar to, for instance, here in Arizona, we have beautiful sunsets where the colors are just so vibrant. But when you try and take a photo or a video of it, it never, ever looks as good, not even close. And I think that is actually similar to Switch 2 in that when you see it in person, it just looks absolutely stunning versus seeing a video of it. Or even another thing that I do is I've made plenty of videos on my channel reviewing video game projectors, right, on my 150-inch screen. And seeing it on video, I'm sure is cool, but seeing it in person is insane. And it's just hard to sometimes translate that. So keep in mind that when you do buy the Switch 2, you're going to be really impressed, trust me. What I love just about Supergiant Games is how the art, music, and gameplay all come together to create an immersive experience. And Hades 2 is no different. From the minute you step into the Underworld, you're hit with a blend of beautiful environments, atmospheric music, and fast-paced combat that just feels right. The soundtrack is just as good as the original. Darren Korb's music is once again a standout with an electrifying score that drives the intensity of the combat and the exploration. The music adapts to the action, whether you're in the middle of a boss fight or exploring a new area, and it's the perfect complement to the high-octane gameplay. And the sound effects are on point as well, with every sword swing, magic blast, and enemy growl adding to the atmosphere. The voice acting too is fantastic, with returning voices like Logan Cunningham and new additions like Amelia Tyler as Hecate, bringing the characters to life. And if you're wondering how I know all of this, guys, is because I've watched videos on the actual game in early access. So I'm fully aware of all of this, and I've been following it very closely. And I could play it right now in early access, but again, I knew a year ago that this was going to be coming to Switch 2. I literally predicted it, and I was like, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for the full version, but I'm going to still follow it from afar, and I'm still going to watch previews on YouTube. So that's how I know all of this stuff, by the way. I did not learn all of this during the demo, but I at least got to play it and experience, and that's what's important, right? Now, as for the story, Hades 2, it does immediately hook you. You're playing as Melinoë, the daughter of Persephone and Hades, and your mission is to stop Kronos, the Titan of Time, from wreaking havoc on the gods and mortals alike. The game does a great job of building on the mythological backdrop, weaving a narrative that pulls you in and makes you want to learn more about the world and characters. And that's exactly how Hades 1 was. It was just so cool to have these casual conversations with these Greek gods. And I'm like, this is so cool, man. Especially for me, being almost 40 years old, and I've been out of school for a very long time. And just hearing and reading about some of this stuff again, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this person, or I remember this from school. This is cool, man. This is a cool representation of them. Supergiant Games did a really good job there. So I was immediately invested in Melinoë's journey and the deeper connections to witchcraft and the occult that are introduced. The story unfolds naturally through dialogue and events, just like the first game, and it's hard not to get sucked into the rich lore and world building. But again, you gotta talk to everybody. One of the most exciting parts for me was not knowing that Hades 2 would be at the Switch 2 Experience event. It's not like we were given a list of what was going to be there. So I walked in blind, not knowing all the games that would be there. And discovering Hades 2 in action was actually a huge surprise. Some of the games that are there I could have predicted no problem, especially the first-party Nintendo games. But I didn't expect to see Hades. I didn't expect to be playing the 7-week build of Cyberpunk and for it to be as great as it is. There was a lot of surprises there. So, guys, given how much I loved the first game, I knew instantly that this is going to be another day one purchase for me. As for concerns, there's nothing major yet. The build that I played at the Switch 2 Experience I don't know if it's an early access build that's on the Switch 2 or if this is the final build, but it played brilliantly. It was super smooth, it looked beautiful, and I just can't wait for the full experience. If this game is physical or digital, it does not matter for me. I'm going to be buying it on day one. I'm going to have a hard time not playing this on day one. And I know there's going to be a lot of competition because I got Mario Kart, we got Zelda's. Day one's going to be a lot of fun. Cyberpunk, I still need to figure out what games I'm going to get for launch day. And I think there's still going to be more games announced. So this is really exciting. But if Hades 2 is there on day one, I'm going to be there 100%. So to wrap things up, again, Hades is shaping up to be everything I hoped for and more. The gameplay is fresh, the story is compelling, and the visuals and sound are top-notch. I'm fully on board for this one, and again, I can't wait for the release. Launch title or not, Hades 2 is a must-buy, and I'll be picking it up the minute it drops. Before I sign off, though, I want to hear from you guys. Have you played the original Hades? What do you think of Hades 2 so far? Have you played the early access? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out all my other hands-on impressions from the Switch 2 experience, including my Mario Kart World Tournament win, Metroid Prime 4, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Cyberpunk, the Switch 2 Welcome Tour, Donkey Kong, and more. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more content coming your way. See you guys in the next video, and as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.